Thank you for joining us here at 6 a.m. as we take a live look from the growing memorial at Annunciation Catholic Church. Our coverage continues this morning with more on the victims, the survivors, and how the community is stepping up to help. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm Jason Hackett alongside Lauren Lemanchek.
Yeah, it's been a really tough week for a lot of us here in the Twin Cities. I think a lot of people are ready for a weekend to sort of reset here. We're going to have the very latest on everything you need to know on the Annunciation shooting. But first, we want to get out to John because it is Labor Day weekend. People have a lot of plans. What does the weather look like?
Yeah, we're going to dodge showers here as we go through today and Saturday for sure, but it's still an absolutely phenomenal weekend. But yes, there's going to be some times and periods of rain depending on where you're at, including right now. You got that one cell in Brainerd. Again, we'll track that thing out. It's been dumping rain, very small. The rain down here just east of the metro is missing the Twin Cities. So if you're driving across the Twin Cities, you're okay. But again, yeah, it's raining. As we zoom on in here, you can see areas from Red Wing stretching over across Lake City now. And then up towards even River Falls, some light rain. But the heavier rain is in Menominee over towards Eau Claire in Wisconsin. Some decent showers continuing just north of New Richmond here over to Osceola. North Branch, this is going to the south. Let's head up to that one cell in Brainerd. Again, we know it's raining in Nisswa. We got that confirmation again. So I think this is actually slightly up here, but Brainerd and Nisswa, we've got rain. In fact, zooming in here, you can see how much rain fell, and it keeps going higher. 2 inches of rain in that cell. So again, if you're in the Brainerd Lakes, Nisswa region over towards Pelican Lake, you guys are picking up tons of rain this morning, but it's very localized because Cross Lake, not seeing any of this. So again, we'll time this out. We have another chance for this exact situation later tonight. We'll time that out in your forecast. Cece?
Good morning, 6:02. John mentioned Brainerd. Live look here in Brainerd. It is coming down and roads are pretty wet in that area. You see that truck drive past there. Take it slow in that area. Leave out the house a little earlier for work than you normally would. Zooming to 694, 494 loop. Just know that if you're north of 694 or northeast of 694, it is wet in those areas too, damper wet roads. So if you're heading out in those areas, please add more time to your commute as well. Zooming out, anywhere else, we are seeing dry roads and no crashes. We are crash free right now and not seeing a lot of slowing. I'll have more on one weekend construction project over the next hour.
All right, Cece, we will talk to you soon. Thank you. In just a few hours here, we're expecting an update on the conditions of the Annunciation shooting victims that are still in the hospital.
And this morning, we are learning more about the 2 young lives lost, 8-year-old Fletcher Merkel and 10-year-old Harper Moisky. Michelle Beck is live at the growing memorial near the church and school with more. Michelle?
Well, you're right. It is a growing memorial. Even as early as 4:15 this morning, I watched a neighbor cross the street here and go behind me. You're looking at it right now to the memorial outside Annunciation Church. He dropped a bouquet of flowers. And as you can see, there are too many. There are so many bouquets of flowers, too many to count. You can even see here handmade signs that say Fletcher and Harper. Some of them in children's handwriting. Of course, now we know Fletcher and Harper are the 2 kids who were killed in Wednesday's attack. Harper Moisky, just 10 years old. She was bright, joyful, and deeply loved in her family's words. Fletcher Merkel was 8 years old. With Annunciation's principal by his side, Fletcher's dad spoke out about his memories, focusing on Fletcher's love for family, fishing, cooking, and sports.
Please remember Fletcher for the person he was and not the act that ended his life. Give your kids an extra hug and kiss today. We love you, Fletcher. You'll always be with us.
Now, Harper's family shared this, writing in part, their 10-year-old's laughter, kindness, and spirit touched everyone who knew her. Our hearts are broken not only as parents, but also for Harper's sister, who adored her big sister and is grieving an unimaginable loss. Back to us live on scene. In their latest updates, Children's Minnesota says 1 child is still hospitalized. We were not told of their condition. Meanwhile, Hennepin Healthcare says they are still caring for 7 patients. They say that 1 of those patients is a child right now in critical condition. And coming up later at noon, we are expecting another update from Hennepin Healthcare. Hopefully, Jason, Lauren, some good news there.
I think everyone could use some good news right now. Hearing from those parents is just so heartbreaking. Michelle, thank you. Well, right now, you'll notice extra security is up around schools and places of worship across Minneapolis. Governor Walz says state troopers and DNR enforcement officers are teaming up to patrol around the city. State Patrol says that frees up Minneapolis police and the BCA to continue their investigations at the scene. The State Patrol chief says they want troopers to be highly visible. This morning, we're also learning more about the horrific moments during the shooting. Raya Katene shares the latest from police.
The active threat may be over at this South Minneapolis church and school. But the nightmare hasn't ended, as authorities confirm the number of victims in Wednesday's shooting has grown to 20.
Yesterday, Minnesota was attacked.
An attack during Mass at Annunciation Catholic School left 2 children dead and 18 people injured, most of them also kids.
Pure, indiscriminate hate.
The acting U.S. attorney for Minnesota says the investigation is currently focused on confirming the shooter acted alone and finding a possible motive.
The shooter expressed hate towards almost every group imaginable. There appears to be only one group that the shooter didn't hate, one group of people who the shooter admired.
This deep admiration for other school shooters, Thompson says, was discovered by investigators sifting through hundreds of pieces of evidence collected through search warrants at 3 homes in Minneapolis, Richfield, and St. Louis Park. At the church, they recovered 116 rifle casings, 3 shotgun shells, and discovered a live round and a pistol, which appeared to have malfunctioned.
I grew up Catholic. I have children myself. It's very, very bothersome to me.
Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara says investigators have interviewed dozens of friends and relatives but have been unable to reach the shooter's mother.
It was just an unthinkable scene inside of that church with all of these children injured, with so many others scared, trying to rescue them, bring them to a place of safety.
He says his officers have trained for such a scenario, but that alone may not be enough.
You know, the reality is, our schools, our houses of worship, also have to prepare for this because it has become far too common in our society.
Authorities say the shooter had no criminal background, was never on the FBI's radar, and they believe all 3 guns used were purchased legally. They also say the church locking its doors during Mass likely prevented this from being even worse since the shooter was unable to enter the building.
New this morning, neighbors say they want the Annunciation community to see how much they're loved and supported at this time. Representing their love and loyalty for these families with the blue and green ribbons, the Annunciation school colors. Crystal Watson and her 4-year-old daughter spent time tying the ribbons around trees yesterday, saying they want families to feel the support of their community every time they drive down the street.
Just that they would feel just this interconnected web of love to just hold them and lift them as they're grieving.
Now you can find homes decorated. You can find homes decorated with these ribbons throughout the community. Crystal says it's a simple way to show support. All you have to do is buy plastic tablecloths at the dollar store and then cut them into strips. Of course, we are closely following the very latest on the Annunciation Church shooting. For that continuing coverage, stay tuned on air, online, and on our free KARE 11 Plus app.
Right now, the Minnesota BCA is investigating an hours-long standoff that ended with a Metro SWAT officer shooting and killing a man. It started around 11 a.m. on Ottawa Avenue. West St. Paul police say they were trying to arrest a man with multiple felony warrants. Police say after a SWAT team got there at 2, the suspect shot at them for several hours from inside a house. At 7, police say he aimed a long gun at them and a SWAT officer shot him. He died at the hospital. No officers were hurt. And a sad update to a story we've been following now for more than a month. Officials in Wyoming say they found the body of missing Lakeville father Grant Gardner. The Bighorn Sheriff's Office says earlier this week, climbers noticed a backpack under a ledge a few hundred feet above them. Search crews flew in and found Gardner's body nearby.